When he took his top off and I saw his chest, I was thinking, Jesus.
I just thought he's going to get yellow cards, isn't he? That's what I thought.
Mohamed Salah, after many years of being the top scoring player in FPL, will not continue his reign at the top of the tree.
It's definitely time for his breakout season at age 34. Getting in over the World Cup winning Hugo Lloris. Welcome everyone, this is the All-In FPL show. I'm your host JB and this is it. It is double game week time. We're here to run you through the best picks, the teams to choose from and everything else FPL. I'm super excited as you can tell, and we are joined by a guy who has less chips left than McDonald's at the end of a busy Friday night. It's Doyle. How are you, Doyle?
Very chipless, but otherwise feeling chirpy. So,
and we've just discovered actually that you might even be less chipless than we thought, because you may have used your free hit as well at some point in game week 12, which we've all forgotten about because I mean, it just seems such a crazy, ludicrous idea.
It was a genius idea, which didn't go well. But it was next level.
Yeah, maybe we can touch on that a bit later. But also, we are joined by a man that has more money than the Sultan of Brunei, but just confessed he was running late due to the bus not being on time. It's the richest man on the planet. It's Josh Waldridge. How are you, Josh?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. The bus tried to throw me off the tracks, but I stayed on the road. It's all right. So yeah, I just can't believe. I'm still in shock about Doyle using his free hit in week 12 because I didn't believe him when he said it. I had to check it, and yet here we are. So just a wild card left for one of us anyway.
I still need to verify it. I'm still not believing it, but I will have a check myself in a minute and see if that is true. But I'm more shocked that you was getting a bus. You don't get chauffeur driven around these days.
I think I do get more Ubers than I should for sure. But no, there's nothing wrong with the bus, mate. I absolutely love the bus. So yeah.
Keeping it real. That's what we like about you. Anyway, we have got a busy show coming up, like I said. And Doyle, what is the actual sort of plan for tonight? What we running through?
Well, we are the double game week experts over here, all in FPL. Josh is the fixture king, so we're going to be looking ahead at the double game weeks to come, particularly this one, running through each team, seeing who the best options are, and whether or not I think we should take a bit more of a strategic view. We had a discussion before this call about taking hits, whether you should take hits for a double game week, whether you shouldn't. I know some of us lie on one side, some on the other, so we'll talk about that as well before quickly running through our teams and let you know our plans.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, we've kind of got different, well, from what we think, we haven't had a massive in-depth discussion, but we kind of, a few of us sitting on different sides of the fences, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. So hopefully you'll be able to get a really good idea of all the options available to you, and then you can sort of mix and match and see what you think's best for yourself.
Yeah, so in the next sort of 10 minutes, you'll find out both what to do and what not to do, and it'll be coming from different people, so it's going to be really interesting.
Right, so just briefly, let's touch on our game weeks, because obviously we're in the middle of the game week. At the moment, tonight, it is Monday night, I think, Tuesday night. This should be going live maybe Wednesday morning if Doyle has time and he can be bothered to edit it properly. So at the moment, we've just got one game left of this game week, which is the Chelsea-Fulham massive London derby ahead on Thursday night. How you done so far, Josh?
I won't let you slime Doyle there. Doyle does a lot for our podcast on the editing side, so we've got to give him credit where credit's due.
He does. No, he's brilliant.
He's crap at FPL, but he's really good at editing. So yeah,
the video will be there on time. It's whether Josh decides to tweet about it in the next few days or so. Might be next game week by the time he actually gets.
That is so true.
Look, the social media is back on track. I'll tell you that. We're back on track from this moment onwards, all right? I did about 3 tweets today. None of them about FPL or with the video or anything, but I did do 3 tweets. So, let's just call it a fresh start, all right? I'm on 62 points. I don't want to talk about this for too long, but I've got Mount, Koulibaly, Kepa, and Andreas captain to go. So, probably a bit below average for players to go. But, yeah, I've got... hopefully some of those, get going kind of thing. Yeah, Harry Kane and Shaw were my heroes, and then I had Rashford and Trippier as well. Those are all my points. So yeah, moving on to someone else, please, because I'm too excited about the future, to be honest. I don't want to talk about the past.
Yeah,
I
nobody
definitely don't
cares
want to
anyway.
talk about the past. I definitely don't want to talk about the past. This bench that would have been it was very, very nearly a 2-point bench boost. If Akanji hadn't come on to save the day, and means I at least would have played I'd probably gotten off Trippier or Doherty at least, but what a shambles. A 0-point Patterson, 0-point Trossard, 2-point Danny Ward, and then take your pick of the defenders, stick on the bench. It's
How many points have you got currently in total?
not a lot, John. Less than Josh, so we're on 57
with a bench boost.
Yeah, it's not been great. It's not.
But to be fair, I've only got 4 left to go, including captain. So
yeah, I hate this game. John, how's your week?
Yeah, not too bad. I've got a green arrow at the moment, so I'm 394,000, I believe. Green arrow always good, and I've still got 2 players to play. I've got Andreas to play and Kepa, so possibly points from one of them, maybe not both of them, but we'll have to see about that. Did have Mitrovic captain. He's already got me some points, so I'm not too disheartened, and he obviously got more than Haaland, who would have been the other captain. So yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to this game week though. Shall we move on to it? What to do with the doubles, people? What are we doing?
Josh, do you want to give out a rough layout of the doubles this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 4 teams doubling, obviously, and they are Man City, Man United, Tottenham, and Crystal Palace. And just really quick fixtures. Man United have got Man City at home and Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace have got Chelsea away and United at home. City have got, as I've already said, United away and Tottenham at home. And then Tottenham have got Arsenal at home and City away. So they're all playing someone good, basically. And then Crystal Palace have got Chelsea, so that's quite an easy one. But yeah, they're all playing at least one of the perceived top 6, and some of them are playing 2 of the perceived top 6. So really interesting one. Do you boys have any feels on like how some of these games will go or could go?
Like Palace is a really hard sell for me. I know you're quite into Zaha, Josh. But those 2 fixtures are very tough. Even Chelsea being how they are at the moment. Just Palace's form recently has been pretty awful, and I'm not particularly confident going there personally.
That's one to cross off for you then, at least. So
yeah,
just the other 3.
Yeah, the other 3. I mean, United, it's just City, isn't it? It's just always going to be tough, attacking wise. Palace away is a great fixture though, so I'd be pretty keen to get at least 2 or 3 United players. City always great, doesn't matter who they play. And Spurs again, super tough. Obviously, Arsenal, City, top 2 in the league. So, I mean, I think United and City for me are the ones where you can invest in confidence. I'd be a lot more hesitant on Spurs and Palace.
Yeah, for me, I think Doyle explained it really well. I think the key for this double game week, which is probably why me and Josh might differ, is I'm just so not keen on the fixtures, the teams that are playing, and it depends on the makeup of your current team. So I am in quite a good position. I've got quite a few doublers anyway, and I've got 2 free transfers, so I can pretty much do what I want. But I wouldn't necessarily be taking hits, ripping up my team for these players. Crystal Palace are a complete no-go for me, despite Zaha being nailed for 90 minutes. Like Doyle said, they're just in such poor form, and their fixture run, I certainly don't want to be holding any Crystal Palace players. They've got Chelsea, Newcastle, Man United twice, Brighton, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. That's all in the next 8-9 fixtures. So I certainly wouldn't want to be getting any of them. I don't think they'll do that particularly well in the doubles. So they're a definite avoid for me. And the other fixtures are tough as well. Like Man City keep rotating everyone. I think more rotation at the moment than ever before, really. I mean, the only players you could be confident that would start would be De Bruyne and Haaland. Even Cancelo now, he's being rotated with Rico Lewis. So again, even though it's a double game week, you might only get a single fixture out of it. So it's very difficult. And then Man United, that is probably one team I would like to own, and I'm in a good position there because I have the triple up, and they're very cheap, so they are good enablers if you don't have any of them. And then last but not least, Tottenham, again, they have a lot of rotation. Wing backs with the games coming thick and fast. Champions League's coming up. He might start rotating, even though Perisic and Doherty have been fairly nailed. But I think Kane's pretty much the only one you really want to go near in that Tottenham team.
Should we go a bit more into the teams then that they're playing here? So like City, you said KDB and Haaland are the only ones that interest you because they're nailed. Obviously, Ederson's another option in terms of nailed front. Akanji, what do you think about Akanji as well? Because he obviously didn't start the last game. He's been pretty nailed up until then. And he obviously came on as well and I personally thought looked really good when he came on in the midweek game last week. What do we think about him?
Well, me and you have him, Doyle, obviously. So I think we have to hold for a start. For anyone who's got him, I think it's a must hold. Like I can't see how you could possibly sell him. But I think it's a definitely don't buy. So I think it's a don't buy, don't sell for Akanji, and I think to me that's a very, very clear spot.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you could sell him if you saw someone else that took your fancy in the midfield slots. You could find a way.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
I mean, it's those two in the middle, the Mahrez and Grealish. They've caught my eye for sure. I think they both look really good form. I think Pep really likes both of them at the moment. I think Foden's a pretty clear second choice, although he did score the other day. So I'm very interested in trying to squeeze one of those two in, probably Mahrez just because of the upside. But yeah, obviously it involves taking out someone who's also got a double game week, which sounds ridiculous. But the thing about being at the bottom, guys, when you're doing so badly, it doesn't really matter. And the only way is up. So
yeah, I think you can't really make many strategically incorrect decisions when you're so far behind, to be honest, because like anything, even if it's really stupid, is probably low EO. So you could probably make a reason for it. So yeah, just do you, man. That's absolutely fine.
It's almost like it's like worst case scenario. It's like, look, it's a foul, it's a lost cause. Do whatever. We don't care anymore.
Literally, yeah. What do you think about Grealish and Mahrez? If you taking it from someone else's point of view who doesn't have Triple City already and could just get them in one move, what do you think?
I'll let JB go first on this one.
So yes, I have. I can do so many things this week. So I've really been tinkering with my team, and I've got so many options available to me. And one of them is potentially to get an extra Man City player, and it would only really, like I mentioned, apart from De Bruyne, Haaland, I don't think anyone's really nailed, but Pep did speak in glowing terms about Mahrez. I read it the other day, and he was saying basically that he wasn't training correctly, wasn't playing to his full capacity, but he showed in the last few games he has been, and it's to his credit. And when he's playing like this, he's unbelievable. And he was just showering him with praise, basically. So I think Mahrez is probably nailed can be for Man City at the moment, probably along with Grealish. And I think Foden is that player who's going to come on, maybe play the odd game here and there. So I agree with what you say. I like Mahrez at the moment. He's scored a worldie free kick the other day, and he won't be on pens obviously because Haaland, but could be on some set pieces as well. So
I think that's a good thing given how Mahrez takes penalties, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's had a lot of opportunities. He unfortunately just don't score, does he? What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, so as I said, anyone with 3 Man City, don't sell any of them. Just hold the 3 you've got for this week. That's my number one piece of advice. If you have a slot, so some people have just Cancelo and Haaland, I would imagine. I think that's what you've got, right, JB? Mm-hmm. Some people will have just De Bruyne and Haaland, I would say. In those spots, if you've got someone like Mason Mount, I think Mahrez is very much on the table. I think Mount to Mahrez is very good. I would be tempted to do that if I didn't have 3 City already. But instead, that leaves me a different option. So yeah, I wouldn't sell an Arsenal midfielder for Mahrez though. Would either of you guys?
I'm not looking at that at all now. I just think they're just too good at the moment.
I think I'd do it. I think the fixtures are too bad. I was having a look at this yesterday. Let me just.
They've got 2 bad fixtures.
I mean, yeah, is it? Yeah, it's because they've got that double, don't they? That keeps fooling me because they've got Tottenham, United, and Everton. It's a pretty awful fixture. And And then I looked at Brentford City as bad fixtures, but it's obviously a doubles, which makes it quite good, which is the problem with it. But I really don't mind a short-term punt on Mahrez, and then you can swap it back in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think part of the appeal of buying the City players is the fact that they've got 2 doubles in 4 weeks. So, like, if you flip to Mahrez, you'd then be flipping Mahrez back, and then you'd need to get another City player in. You know what I mean? So it's like a bit of
you probably have to find a spot somewhere else, right? Like you do Saka to Mahrez now. You'd have to find, like, say, I don't know, Rashford. I don't think he doubles in 23. So you'd be moving him to the Arsenal or something like that. But I think there's worse short-term punts to be had than that.
Yeah, and one final bit on Man City as well. You did mention the defence. I've got Cancelo at the moment, and one of the options I had, if you have got 2 threes or you want to take a hit or 2 or 3 or 4 like Josh, it might talk about shortly. Cancelo obviously hasn't been nailed at all, and I think Rico Lewis, Pep's been talking about him so much. He looks fantastic every time he's played. And I think he's got as much chance as anyone of starting both games. And he's only 3.9. So even if he doesn't start, if he's just an enabler on your bench, whatever it is, you could just take Cancelo down to Rico. And one of the options I had was obviously then I could potentially use that extra money if you want to boost someone up to De Bruyne because you'll have an extra 3-4 million. Or in my situation, I was thinking maybe I might take out, I was going to take out Martial before he had the double. The Manchester United and Crystal Palace game was announced, and then bring in Kane. So it's another quirky little one you could do where you could potentially free up loads of money to get someone like Kane or De Bruyne and still have a doubler in Rico Lewis. But again, it depends if his minutes are managed, but it's an option.
Yeah, Rico's a really good pick, I think. I think you do have to do something with that Cancelo spot. I'm guessing you are doing, JB. You're not going to just hold him.
I think I might hold him, but not necessarily because I want to, but just because I want to try something a little bit different maybe at the moment. But we can get onto that shortly.
Yeah, like I'd probably say that's worth a hit, but depends on defense and stuff. But
I don't think Rico Lewis will start 2 games. I will say that very confidently. I think he'll play Kyle Walker against at least one of Rashford or Son, probably both. And Rico Lewis is a right back. So I don't buy it myself, but I think he might start 1. So 3.9, pretty good. I think 1 start is almost as good as you'll get from most of the other defenders, and it's quite hard to predict which one won't only get 1 start. So I think 3.9 lowers your risk a little bit, to be honest. I think it's pretty good. If people need the money for like a Bruno or something, or to get De Bruyne in, if people still want to do that. Yeah, so I don't think he'll start both games.
I'm pretty confident that Kanji will start both, actually.
Such a weird take. It's just whichever one you fit. It's like, it's really interesting because they got loads of centre backs now again.
Yeah, but he always, like, he played so many games in a row. It was the first time he got benched, and then he came on at half time, right? And looked really good. I just think he's their best defender, and I just think he'll play both games. But
I think Stones might be the most nailed personally. He got a man of the match against Chelsea in the Premier League. And you know, in the interview afterwards, they were saying your form's really turned around. You had a great World Cup, and what's the catalyst for this? And you know, I think his confidence is high. He's good on the ball, which Pep likes. If I had to choose any Man City defender, and I had my pick of it without price, anything like that, I think I'd choose Stones. But Akanji would probably be a close second. But you know, who knows? Laporte might come in for 1 game. They've got Ake there. So many options.
The thing is, as well, it really does depend partly on how much you think Lewis will play. Because if Walker plays, I assure you Cancelo will play left back. If Walker plays, Cancelo will play left back. Because he likes the 1 attacking fullback. Whereas if Rico Lewis plays, I don't think there's any chance Cancelo plays. So it's like he'll then play Ake a left back, or you know what I mean? It's like it's that balance. So it really does it matters how much you buy into my thought that Walker will play to defend against Rashford or Son.
Yeah, I agree with that. Every time Rico's played, he's taken that Cancelo role where he's gone into midfield as the extra man, and then they move free at the back. And that's how they play. They've played like that for years. There's, you know, it's not about rotation. That's just in their DNA that's how they do play. So Cancelo's pretty much the only one that usually does that. But now it seems like they've got two players that can do it. So yeah, brilliant point there, Josh.
I think actually, if you think about it really hard, I think Lewis and Ake will play one game at fullback, and Walker and Cancelo will play another game at fullback. So I think you've got 4 guys starting one game each. I think is the most likely outcome. And then the centre backs, where does that leave you? It's 2 out of Stones, Laporte, and Akanji, isn't it? So basically, we don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. And don't forget they play again. Well, when everyone's watching this, it'll be tonight. If they watch it as soon as it drops, which I assume they will. Carabao Cup, I think they're away at Southampton tomorrow. So again, it's another fixture. So maybe you can try and get some clues who don't play that one. They might be playing in the next game. But yeah, we just have to see.
Doyle, Laporte got 9 in the FA Cup at the weekend. I heard you mumble something about Laporte, but I guess it was asking about that.
Yeah, I was just wondering about his minutes, to be honest with you, 'cause he's not really played all season, has he? But I don't know if he was injured or whatnot. Can't really remember. Yeah, I think that's good on City. I think some good points from Josh for a change, which was good to see.
Overall, we still don't really know who's going to play, though, do we? that's you know.
So how would you rank the assets?
And to be honest,
give me your top. Let's say top 5 in order City assets for this double.
If you had to own them,
you just your 5 assets in order, like your best 5 picks.
Okay, so obviously Haaland first, for other reasons as well, which we'll probably get onto with chip usage shortly. De Bruyne would be second, purely because I think he's nailed, not necessarily terms of value for money. I think that might go to Mahrez, possibly. So De Bruyne in terms of minutes, Mahrez in terms of value for money and possible upside, so that you can help your team in other ways. And then the last 2, very difficult. I don't really want to say Ederson because I just think it's a boring pick. He don't get many save points. He has to have the clean sheets, and they've got 2 tough fixtures. So maybe Rico Lewis, just purely because you can save loads of money as well. And Ederson, yeah.
Josh?
That was weirdly close to what I thought I was being really weird with what I was going to say. I think Haaland, then Mahrez, I think. Then De Bruyne, then Rico Lewis, just purely for being really cheap, and then I think Stones is 5th. So I think I'll go Lewis just above Stones, but Stones, I'm still not convinced he'll start 2 games. I think he's really good, and I think he's playing really well, but it could be any 2 of those 3. Any one of those 3 starts the 2, and the other 2 probably play one out of him, Akanji, and Laporte. So yeah. I'd lean towards Laporte not starting 2, actually, but that's it. Go on, Doyle. How do you rank them?
Mahrez. Okay. I'll give Haaland the top spot. Just Haaland, KDB, Mahrez, Akanji, Grealish. We'll go for that.
Had to get Akanji in there, didn't you?
Of course, Akanji's the best, isn't it? He'll start 2. I guarantee it. I guarantee he starts 2 out of 2.
Stones have started the last 6 in a row in the Premier League, so take that with that what you will.
One quick observation then. No one had Cancelo anywhere near is number 1. And number 2, Doyle, I think that's the one spot. I keep saying it to you, but I think we've been so lucky to have gone Akanji over Cancelo. Like, it's just like it's 2 million extra in the dead spot for this week. Like, because you still have to start them, but we're saving 2 million or more than 2 million on that sort of unsure City spot. You know what I mean? So I think we've been really lucky with that one.
Been lucky. We'd have been really lucky if he'd scored any points, but yeah. Should we move on to the next team? Should we move on to Manchester United and what you think of them?
Sounds good.
JB, do you want to take some line?
Yep. So Man United. Sorry, I just filled in a message from the wife here. This is the sort of stuff I have to deal with. Is a Lion bar the same as a Mars bar?
Right. Oh, no.
I put no. A Lion bar is more crunchy. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, I think that'll do you, mate. I think that's
more substance. And then she just wrote back, "Okay, thank you," and 3 kisses. So Manchester United. I think Manchester.
JB's mind's elsewhere. Take us away, Josh.
Go on. You go, Josh.
I only want to say one thing, so I'm not going to steal your limelight, JB. What I am going to say is Man United are quite likely to double in week 22 as well. So these assets are really good ones to get in over a 3-week period.
And what is the rumours for that?
I
It's
thought we were
supposed
going
to
to
be
get Bartek then, Josh.
no, it's supposed to be Leeds as the second game in the double. So I think that pairs with like another fairly okay fixture. Crystal Palace at home, Leeds is the other game.
What's
So
the percentage currently out on with old
well,
Ben Crellin or whoever it is?
I don't know the percentage. It's whether either of those teams have a fourth round FA Cup replay that would block that.
Okay. So it's the first opportunity they could possibly replay that. So it makes sense, yeah.
And basically, Man United are about to have a big fixture congestion if they make it deep in all the tournaments. So they're just trying to get Man United specifically out the way early. Whereas like some of the other teams, they can play week 25, week 29. You know what I mean? There's something that, like Brighton and all that, they can just play whenever. So there's a bit of an urgency to get Man United's fixtures played early, and it's probably the case for a couple of other teams like Liverpool and Arsenal, etc. So yeah. But yeah, JB, the assets. This is what they've came for. They want to hear who you think are the best assets.
Well, I think these are the most viable because they are very cheap, and also Manchester United are banging form. So you've got banging form players, very cheap. What more do you want? They've got a potential double on the horizon, like you just explained. So there's only one man everyone should have, and I think he's 38% owned at the moment, and I think that's pretty high amongst like people who are probably playing now. So amongst active teams, that's probably like 70-80%, which is Marcus Rashford. He's just scoring for fun. His confidence has never been higher. The team look more settled now, and he seems like he's figured out his role. And yeah, just playing with confidence. And Marcus Rashford has to be in for me. And they got so many other options as well. Another man who's banging form is Luke Shaw. Absolutely cleaning up with points at the moment. The defense has been really good, even though they've had admittedly easy fixtures. But he's a bit of a bonus points magnet. He was a good price. He's gone up quite a lot. I think I got him when the game resumed at 4.7, and he's 5.1 now. So there is that added to it. But obviously, he scored the other day as well. So his confidence is up. The team playing well. He's pretty nailed as well. In his position, he's not being challenged now. So another good pick. I think them two are kind of auto picks if you've got them, or if you're looking to get someone in, if you've got the money. And then the last pick, you can go a bit rogue. I mean, I'll let one of you guys talk a bit more about the others, but you could be a bit more rogue with Ericsson, who old flame of Josh, who's done very well. You got Bruno if you want to splash out, if you think that United are the real deal. You got on the other side Dalot, who should be fit now, but he's only just coming back from injury, so he is a bit of a risk. But he's the cheaper version of Shaw in the defence, who gets forwards, can get assists and goals. And then you've got all the centre-backs like Varane, Martinez, also very, very cheap as well. I think Martinez is 4.5. So if you're doing stuff elsewhere and you really are scraping the bottom of the barrel with your money that you've got left, you could plug and play him just purely for the fixtures to try and hopefully get some clean sheets. And then Martial up front, who's very cheap as well. So what do you guys think?
I thought you were about to list 18 assets and not list the one you've got in your team. That would have been, I would have found that very funny if you.
There's so
Martial
many assets though. There is so many players you can pick from Manchester United. I've probably forgotten. You could even have De Gea if you want in goal.
Yeah,
you can you can click any of the ones you want. You click on loads of Everton assets too. It doesn't mean they're any good, but yeah. I wouldn't go any United defender other than Shaw, I don't think. Just because the fixtures are, while they're doubles, they're pretty bad doubles, right? Well, the second double's all right. The second double's good, but City, and then they got Arsenal in the middle. I don't know. The one I do like is Tony Marshall, though, who you got up front.
Only clubs.
Out last week and may transfer back in this week, even despite Wout Weghorst coming in to challenge him.
I would say I was looking to get rid of Martial until this double game was announced. I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong, but he only seems to get sort of 65, 70 minutes. And obviously, if they do sign Weghorst, which looks likely, that could further reduce his minutes because they do need someone else. Obviously, now Ronaldo's gone.
His underlyings are really strong, though. I was having a look beforehand.
I agree. He hasn't looked too bad when he's been playing as well. He's couple of games been a bit starved to service, but he's
putting up the XG though somehow. I thought the same. I thought he hadn't done much over the last few games, but you look at his XG for the games, and it's still up there. It's like 0.8, 0.7 each game, sort of thing. So
yeah, I'd worry slightly because they played Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth in the last 3 or 4, and Wolves as well, who ain't really very attacking. But these games are obviously going to be a lot harder when they play City at the weekend. But a double game week and you've got the centre forward for the club, even if he is getting 65 minutes, I think it's worth it. And 6.6 million as well. It's nothing, is it? So, Josh?
I think De Gea is an amazing asset. He's 4.9. He's got double. These keepers always do well in double game weeks. He will do well over the course of the sort of 5 games in the 3 weeks. I quite like that because I just don't want to have Kepa already, to be honest. And I just like the sort of, I like the double game week keepers, as I've already said. So I prefer that to Martial for sure. I don't want to be associated with anyone recommending that people buy Martial this week. I think that is pathetic. Like, he's gone. We flirted with him for 2 weeks. He's gone. We're not buying him back.
I'm buying him back. I've done it this season. I like double dipping. I'm going back to him. I'm doing it. Mitrovic.
No, just to be clear, I know when I said we, I did just mean me. But like you can buy him back if you want. But again, we've already said your season is over, so you can do whatever you want. JB should keep him because he's already got him. I agree with that. But in terms of double dip, there's no way you can't go him over Bruno or De Gea. Come on, man.
Bruno.
You haven't even got Shaw yet, for God's sake. You need to get Shaw first.
I'm not going that far.
You've got Patterson.
You went Dean over Shaw, didn't you, Doyle? You thought that was the best move of last week.
Yeah, I'm playing really, really well since the restart, guys. I'm really, really on it.
Luca Dean came on against Stevenage when they were 1-0 up and they lost 2-1. He is one of the worst defenders in the Premier League.
I thought Emery was going to tighten them up. The fixtures look good. It was all coming together. I thought this was a genius move, but no, it wasn't. Turns out.
I don't think he's even going to play anymore.
Bruno is an awful pick, by the way. He's just not good. He's just not a good asset. He's had
a bit pricey.
He's too expensive. He's not even on pens. Like Rashford nicks his pens.
Yeah, if you're looking at Bruno at 9.8 and then you've got Rashford at 7, it's pretty clear which one you go with.
I was looking at this though. I think we need to assume most people have Rashford because I think like someone tweeted earlier, Rashford's going to be over 100% EO, but I think he'll be bloody close to that. I was about to like rubbish that, but I think he'll be very close to 100 EO. So like, what's that?
He won't be because Haaland will take all the captaincy.
No, but some people will punt him as captain. I'm not like 2%, 3%. And then I think pretty much everyone else will have him because he's like really, really good and everyone's already got him. So it's like, yeah, I think he'll just be very close. He'll probably be 90% EO or something.
80, 90.
Yeah, amongst the good teams, yeah. So
if you don't own him, you're definitely getting him this week for the double, aren't you?
Over Bruno, yes, for sure. Yeah.
You're fair. I think he's a differential at my rank. I think he'll be less than 50% at my rank. No one at my rank's playing the game, so I'm going to fly past them with Rashford.
You took the words out of my mouth.
They've not made a transfer since game week 2. These guys, I'm going to crush them.
It's your time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if right now is the right time to bring it up, but I've been toying with the idea of a wild card, right? And I have to say, Luke Shaw wasn't in my wild card, so I would have gone De Gea, Bruno, and Rashford. Those are the 3 I would have gone on wild card for sure. I just think I just like that setup better, but yeah, Shaw's still very good, of course.
Who's playing right back for United at the moment?
So Wan-Bissaka's been playing there, but Dalot's obviously back. But Wanny B's been doing quite well recently. They kept some clean sheets. So I think Ten Hag come out and he said that it's a great problem to have both of them. Wan-Bissaka stepped up. So he spoke quite well about him. So you never know if he's going to keep his place or not.
I'd love to go Dalot over Shaw, but too risky.
It's enough to put you off. They'll play one each, I think, again. I think that's the most popular scenario, the most likely scenario. Yeah,
it's a risky one. If you didn't have the money for sure, I think I'd be more tempted to go Varane just for nailed-ness, I think, to be honest, rather than get that team sheet and not see Dalot's name or Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is very cheap. I think it's 4.3, but again, you ain't going to pick him now that Diego Dalot's come back.
The reason why I really like De Gea is it's like the opposite to Edison. So like if Man United keep a clean sheet, De Gea will probably get 2 baps, like and
Lots of
some
saves.
saves. Like so suddenly you've got a 10-pointer in just half the double game week. You know what I mean? So you just need one clean basically, and you are like more than quids in. So yeah, I think it is very possible. I think a clean is very, very possible.
It's only 4.9 as well. So any keeper under 5 million who's either for a top team or has doubles, I think you can't put anyone off that. So it's not a bad shout.
Top 3 assets then, Josh?
Have we gone down to top 3 now? Top 5 was too many.
Yeah, I can't do top 5 for United.
Was knocking out Rico Lewis and Arkanji, weren't we?
JB had 18 assets for them, Doyle. Like I don't,
Yeah.
you can't make him to 3. My top 3, as I've just alluded to, are Rashford, De Gea, Bruno, and my favourite 3. Yeah,
Mine would be Rashford for sure. Actually, let me rephrase that.
Sure for Rashford, yeah.
It was Rashford definitely, not for sure. Rashford. Second, I would probably put Shaw still. I think he's playing with confidence. He's good in the bonus, can get assists, etc. And third, I hate to say, he's convinced me. De Gea, I think, could be third, slightly ahead of Martial or Bruno.
Yeah,
I'm on fire today. I love it.
Go
on, Doyle, repeat yours, sir.
Rashford, Martial, De Gea.
You're such a weirdo.
Tony Gloves is in there.
I think Martial's a really good player. I think he's going to go nuts. Everyone's off him now. It's just the perfect timing. Same with KDB, sort of blanking a few. It's going to put people off, bringing them in. It's just going to all come together, and they're all going to go nuts.
The problem is, so we talked about Man United's double in 22. Martial won't be starting by 22. There's absolutely no chance he's still starting by 22. He's crap.
He's amazing.
He's absolute rubbish.
He's amazing.
I know you like him. He's got the expected numbers. Well, I'm not expecting anything from him, I'll tell you that.
That's a good one. Right, next team, who we got? We got Crystal Palace.
It nosedives very quickly from here. It's like
well, the thing is, I'm going in order as well. So Palace next.
The riches of Manchester to Crystal Palace and Tottenham Hotspur. I'll tell you this story when we talk about Tottenham in a minute, actually. But for Crystal Palace, I think clear number 1 asset is Zaha if you want to go there. Historically does very well against good teams. He's got 2 okay to good teams in the next 2 games in this double game week. He's obviously the talisman. He's got penalties. I think he is, along with Guaita, the only viable asset on this team.
I think Guaita's a push as well, to be honest with you, looking at the fixtures. I just looked at it, it's just a sea of red and grey misery. It's horrible.
I've actually had a bet on Palace to go down. I said this last game, didn't I? And they got stuffed in the last game, which was really good at home. Just because their fixtures are just absolutely shocking now. So I think they're going to drop like a stone, and then I can reevaluate that bet. But
no, by reevaluate you mean you can cash out, is what you're saying.
Cash out. Yeah. That's what
you definitely cash it out for a nice profit, and you're going to say thank you, Mr. Fixture King.
Yeah, I think they'll stay up because the very end of the season they'll have better fixtures, and they've got enough talent in that team. But for the foreseeable future,
the problem is you're relying on other teams around them to win, and we're all winning the crap. So
I don't know. I can't see Palace winning many of them.
Everton have Southampton at the weekend, so one of us got to get we've got to get a point at least. So
that'd be 0-0.
That'll be a draw. Yeah, that'll be a draw.
That screams 0-0, 1-1, doesn't it?
Yeah, Che Adams missed chances, and So what are your thoughts on Palace?
I think they're crap. Wouldn't pick any of them.
Very concise.
Zaha can't be too bad. Zaha can't be too bad, but nah, I don't think I'd. You don't fancy your boys Eze or Elise, JB?
Just not in these fixtures. The fixtures are too difficult, I think. If you're in a luxurious spot and you've got 2 frees and you've got you're bringing in Kane or De Bruyne and you need a cheap asset, yes, you could look at Eze or Elise, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bag a couple of points in both games and that's it for you. And same with Gaeta. If you desperately want a double game week keeper, he's very cheap. But the only real option is Zaha. He's going to play 90 minutes in both. He's on penalties, even though he misses a lot of them. He's the only reasonable pick, I think. But I don't see why you'd go him over maybe a Man City mid like Mahrez maybe.
Yeah. Any more on Palace, or are we done?
These fixtures are bad, right? I will say that, but it's a similar thing to De Gea. If Guaita keeps a clean sheet, it's 10 points, right? And he might keep 1 out of 2. It's possible, right? I think
Chelsea are really bad.
But I think De Gea is much better than Guaita. Would be the main point at why I would side with De Gea and not go Guaita.
And if it's a double game week, so it's likely people will take hits. So either you've got 2 frees or you'll take hits. So there's, no matter what way you do it, you should rearrange your transfers to not put Gator in, to make sure you can get someone like De Gea instead, because you've got so many more options if you are taking a hit. So just steer clear of Palace. Maybe Zaha at a push, but that's it.
Agreed. Right, last team, Spurs. So they've got is it City, Arsenal and City? Obviously, Harry Kane just scores every single game, but I don't think I've not really looked at him. I don't think I will look at him for this double game week. I just think the fixtures are tough. Yeah, I mean, Josh, you obviously have him already. Would you advise bringing him in if you don't?
I won't be selling him, that's for sure.
Well, yeah.
I think some people have left the money to do Darwin to Kane. I would obviously do that. I mean, like, I'm just like,
no chance. Right.
I mean,
he's not leaving my team all season, Darwin.
I think that
Can you
I
say the
saw
magic
some
words?
people. What's that?
He's a captain option this week.
No, he's on 4 yellow cards. Unfortunately, he's fucked it. We can't cap him. I wish he was on 3 yellow cards. I'd happily cap him. But 4 yellow cards, it's just that makes it not worth it in itself to go against the better captain option. So yeah.
Yeah, not when you got another one.
Yeah, which is Riyad Mahrez, of course. But I don't think I'd buy him this week. I don't think I'd buy him this week unless you had the money to do one transfer Darwin to him. Because I think Darwin to him, I think that's just a really good transfer with the double. You can even reverse it back next week, and that's like not that problematic, I don't think, because like there's no value tied up in Darwin now or anything like that. So it's like you can literally dip. You can do the Doyle special, double dip, basically go Darwin to Kane, Kane to Darwin, but only if you've got enough to do it in one move. Like, and I think that's legit. So,
if you want to lose about 10 points this week, do that. Darwin's going to score at least 2 against Brighton.
That's going to be a bit of bet, I think.
The Doyle guarantee.
And what do you boys? At least one of you's got Matt Doherty. I know you've got him, Doyle, and JB's got him as well, haven't you? You both got him, so he's a good asset to have, right? He's quite a fun one, isn't he?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he seems fine. I think. Did I see something that he might not play one of the games or something? I don't know. I feel like I read something about him, but
hope not.
I mean, I'm going to start him and see what happens. So yeah, seems like a good asset to have if you got him. Again, probably wouldn't bring him in just because the fixtures are so bad that it feels very difficult for him to get a clean sheet. But I like having him. I'm going to start him and we'll see what happens. I'll have some fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've got Doherty as well, and I'd say he's done really well for me. He hasn't. He's got a point in both weeks I've played him, and then unfortunately I didn't get him off the bench for his like 38 points what he got this week. It's a bit of a shame, but he's only 4.6 million. So again, he's got a lot of attacking threat in him. So I don't mind him too much because of the price tag. I think it's very cheap for a double game week player. It's just whether he does play both games. But he's been doing so well that Conte seems a bit settled on Perisic and Doherty lately. So I think there's more chance of him playing than early in the season when he was rotating a lot. So I don't mind Doherty. As for Kane, I do like Kane. I want Kane long term, really, to be honest, because I think he's just had, if it weren't for Haaland, he's had an amazing season. And he just keeps on scoring. Like, he can't stop scoring points. So I don't mind Kane, even if you did get him in. And obviously there's the risk of the extra yellow card, but that's, he could have that for the next 10 games. Who knows? So I could look at Kane this week. It might be something I do, but they do have tough fixtures.
And not tempt you with Son, JB?
No, not for me. I know you love him, but I mean, Son's the same price as Kane. So I think if I was going with anyone, I'd go with the proven commodity of Kane.
Yeah, I hate Son. I've had nothing. Josh, are you adding any other Spurs players, or are you settled with Kane?
No, I want Matt Doherty.
You want Doherty?
Yeah, I really want Matt Doherty. It's more from a trying to correct my structure point of view, because for some stupid reason, I bought in Koulibaly this week, who's 5.5 million and crap, right? So I'm trying to just get the money out of that as soon as possible, basically. And I think it's kind of legit in a double to just do that quickly and get 1 million out of that spot. It might be, I might get lucky and it pays off. I don't think he's worth a hit in isolation if it was for like another 4 million defender or something. But I think to get the 1 million out of the spot for a future week might be really useful for me and might like save me a hit next week or the week after. So I'm tempted to do Koulibaly to Doherty for a hit just because of how stupid my Koulibaly buy was in the first place.
Is that for a hit as well?
No, I used 2 FTs last week, so I did only use 3 transfers last week to buy fucking Mason Mount and Koulibaly, who I'm now selling straight away. So yeah, no, it was Mitrovic I bought. Sorry, so I sort of like him, so it's all right. Mitrovic and Koulibaly I bought last week, but yeah,
I think that's fine to do that. I think Matt Doherty, even if he plays one game, he could get an assist, and there's the outside chance of a clean sheet. Even if he does play both games and don't return, he gets 4 points. Even if you take a hit for it, if I gave you the option right now and said, look, give me 2 points off your total right now, and you can have Matt Doherty for Koulibaly, I think that's a worthy to spend 2 points on doing that, even if, he blanks. But then obviously you do have the upside of he might return.
As I said, there's two future aspects to this as well. Because like Matt Doherty, like I say, it's 1 million saved, but also there'll be a week in the near future where Matt Doherty gets a haul again. And like, I think it's harder for Koulibaly to do that. So like it's sort of like in the next 5 weeks, it might be that Matt Doherty pays off in like the 4th week when he gets a 12-pointer or a 14-pointer, you know what I mean? So I'd just rather have him in my team, I think.
No, I think we've got Fofana back now as well from injury, and we've just splashed another 38 million on the Monaco defender, Badiashile Mane, or whatever his name is. So he's not even guaranteed his place necessarily, and I ain't been particularly impressed with him. I don't think he's been that good for us. So I wouldn't be surprised if Koulibaly's even dropped soon.
The thing with Doherty this week is he could very easily end up on 1 or 2 points or less, because obviously with defenders you concede goals, you lose points. So that's the problem with it really. With midfielders and forwards, you're at least like kind of in a way capped to losing 2 points on it sort of thing. But yeah, just a warning for you, Josh. There.
I'm not. To be honest, I think I need to be lucky to pay back the hit this week. As I say, I think I am very lucky, so I probably will get the hit paid back this week. But as I say, the other part of this is I was looking at like the future weeks for like my planned transfers for say when Arsenal double in 3 weeks. I don't want to like buy an Arsenal defender for Koulibaly, so like I will probably just have to hold Koulibaly for like a very long time if I don't deal with it now, because I want to get in like the 3 Arsenal midfielders for when they double, for example. I want Odegaard, Martinelli and Saka. So like I can't do a defender transfer that week. So like, yeah, I think getting the extra 1 million will set me up quite nicely for a few future weeks. And it's probably worth saying at this point, now we've gone through the 4 doubling teams, that there are potential doubles next week. We might know before the deadline, we might not. If we don't know by the deadline, we probably can assume that there's not doubles. But I mean, we saw Man United announced this week on I think it was announced on Sunday for like the week after. So they can do it on quite short notice, I think. So keep your eyes up. But one of the most popular teams that might double is Liverpool, I think, and Brighton are the same. So again, I was looking at those teams and I don't think there's any of those defenders I want to buy either. So it's like, I think I just need to deal with Koulibaly now is my overarching point, basically. And he was just a crap purchase in the first place.
So looking ahead, now we covered the 4 teams. What do we think in terms of chips and strategy for this week? Is it worth taking hits? And if so, would you, if you had a bench boost, Doyle, could you recommend a bench boost, the triple captain, etc.?
I think triple captain's obviously in play with Haaland. Like, I mean, people are saying, "Oh, look ahead to game week 23." I think it is where they've got a double, which is better. I think with Haaland, he's got a history of injuries. I think I'd potentially look to take it while you can before things go wrong. I think he's just such a good option, even with the tough fixtures, that I'd probably use my triple captain this week. And I think there's a lot of nonsense going around on Twitter about EO and how that affects captaincy, which is true. If you're chasing a lot, it is potentially worth holding it and not triple captaining Haaland, because the range of outcomes is quite wide. But yeah, if you're a decent rank, I'd definitely consider the triple captain this week. I think
How about you, Josh?
Determines on what you've got as well. I can say it's too hard to say that without knowing people's teams, but yeah.
You're right. Did you ask me something? Sorry, I dropped out for a second.
What do you think on the triple captain potential bench boost if you wanted to, or if you were going to take hits maybe? Or we can probably cover hits when we talk about your team, because you already alluded to the idea that you might. But what about triple captain or bench boost?
I think triple captain is much better than bench boost this week. I will have a very eagle eye on the Man City team tomorrow night against Southampton in the Cup. If he's not starting that game, I will 100% use the triple captain. For someone at a decent rank, I think it's almost not up for debate at that point. I think if he's benched tomorrow, what's that?
Who's that? Sorry,
Haaland.
I thought you were talking about Kanji. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, if he's benched against Southampton tomorrow, I think it's going to be, for me personally, it's non-negotiable at that point. I'm going to be using the triple captain. Bench boost, I don't think the fixtures have landed quite good enough this week to use bench boost. Ward's got a good fixture, which does help the Ward Kepa. So that straight away, that's quite appealing. But like Bueno's fixture's not great. Pereira's got Newcastle away. I don't fancy that. So I think people's benches will be just about crap enough to leave it, I think, this week. What bench have you landed on, JB? Are you tempted at all? Or
no, not really. I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really, because in one sense you've got the good teams playing the doubles this week, which obviously will be, most people will have a lot of them in their team already, and you want the better players having the doubles because obviously they're better players, they play for better teams, more chance of points. But at the same time, they're playing the harder teams, which almost counteracts it, and not as many points will be scored. So I'd probably leave it and be more patient and wait until later in the season, because there's going to be so many more doubles, and I think that's probably the best time to use it personally. As for the triple captain, again, it's I think Doyle said initially that Haaland can get injured. He's got a bad injury record, and I think overall, if you're going to use your triple captain, you want it on the best player in the game. That had always been Salah before. You boys probably disagree with that. But now it would be Haaland. So he's the one you really want to use your triple captain on. He plays for the best team. He scores the most points. He's breaking records. That's obvious. So when Man City have a double, you have to play it, surely. And I think the fact that he's pretty much going to play these two games, because they are a little bit tougher as well. He's going to play hopefully 90 minutes in both. I'd just get him in personally. I wouldn't even think about it. Even in 3 weeks' time when they have their other double, they're away at Arsenal. So again, that's a tough fixture. They might have an easier, I think it's Aston Villa at home or Everton, not Everton, maybe Aston Villa at home or someone in the other fixture. But yeah, I agree with you, Josh. I think I'd probably may well use it this week.
I'd watch the Southampton game. I'd make sure there's no 90 minutes there or no extra time or penalty. I think they just go straight to penalties, right? But
he's going to play Man United at the weekend.
United, and he's going to play Spurs. He's going to play.
He has to.
Yeah, but he might get 150 minutes versus 180. It does make a difference. I think if he doesn't start tomorrow, he just plays 90 in both. I don't think it's even close. But I think
play tomorrow, right? I think it's pretty unlikely, but
he probably does or doesn't.
Doesn't.
Well, Alvarez is so good. That's the thing. Alvarez is the cup guy, isn't he? And he's good enough to be in a World Cup winning team, but he's the cup guy, which is just crazy. But they have to give Alvarez the cup game. Surely it's just rude not to. I think, to be honest. So yeah.
And I think the only way he comes off in the Manchester derby or the Tottenham game a few days later is if they are up and they're winning 2-3-0. he'll come off for the last 30 minutes. And if that is the case, they've already scored 2 or 3 goals. So it's likely he's going to be involved anyway in that. So bit of a no-brainer, I think.
He was out of form though. Didn't score last game, so I'd be pretty concerned.
That was against Chelsea though, wasn't it? So, he's not.
I'm taking my 6 points against Everton to the bank, to be honest. Yeah, pretty happy with that. That'll crush you guys. So.
Doyle, I've got a question. From a strategy point of view, have you considered another captain this week or no?
No. I have not considered a lot this week so far. I'm not gonna lie. I've not looked into it in full depth yet, but I might consider it. I think it's an interesting week to do so. I quite like De Bruyne this week. He just loves these big games, De Bruyne. Like United and Spurs, he loves a goal against in these big games. Or Rashford's always. Rashford seems fine as well. But I'll have a think.
They are. I think it's Haaland. It's the best player in the game, and he's got a double game to go against him, isn't it?
Yeah, but like we said earlier, I've got nothing to lose. I'm at 1.2 million rank,
It's kind of like where you either drag yourself back here now, or you plummet to even more depths of despair, and you end up sort of ranked 11 million. So
the good thing about
go for it.
It doesn't really matter if you finish. Well, to me, it doesn't really matter if I finish 100k or 5 million. I'm not going to get any money from any leagues if I finish 100k. Or 5 million. It's on your history. Who cares? I don't really care.
I think anything over 1 million is quite bad now, anyway, isn't it? So whether it's 1 million or 3 million, it's a write-off season. It's gonna look bad either way. So
exactly. So at this point, I think we're getting to the stage now. What week are we at? 19, 20, something like that. It's I've got to start climbing quite quickly. So yeah.
Can we try and see how low a rank we can get you? Higher rank even, so that it could be like potentially like 8, 9 million or something. That should be our aim for the rest of the season.
That could be good. It could get down there, especially in the transfers I'm going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, we'll see.
Any other strategies anyone wants to mention? Anything about the bench boost or triple captain, or should we move on to our teams and potentially what people could do or what we're going to do?
No, I can see how. Go on, Doyle.
I can confidently say I will use neither the triple captain or the bench boost this week. Pure strategic reasons.
I can see why people would play a free hitter at wildcard this week. I think it'd have to be quite a unique scenario where you're very short on double game week players, like very, very short. But if you had, say, 2, like if you had Haaland and not Rashford, so like Haaland
you could have like Cancelo, right, or something. You could have like
if you had Haaland and Cancelo, I would consider a free hitter a wild card this week based on how shit the rest of your team was, like as to which one of those 2 to play. And you only had 1 transfer as well. If you had 2 FTs, I think you could still fix it. But with 1 transfer, I think you're either looking at a really big hit or a wild card or a free hit. I think there's enough good picks still to want about 5 or 6 guys. I think. So yeah, I think those are interesting, and I've put together a wild card draft.
I'd wild card. I want a free hit because these players are sort of players that you want anyway, right? Like City, United, particularly, you want them. So I think wild card's better in that sense, right?
Yeah, I think you could put together a really nice wild card for this week as well. So I think it's sort of the fact, like I have been through it and drafted it, so I do think like it is very possible and very good too.
Who would you have included, Josh?
Oh, let me find the bloody draft. Oh, it's so bad.
That could be how I get to the Mahrez Grealish double up.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Akanji in defence.
Where is it?
Haaland, that's the way to play, baby.
Why is my phone's going the wrong way? Hang on.
Darwin a bit up front, maybe.
Here we go. So I'd go if I was wildcarding this week, and I might do. I think it's very stupid to do so, but for my team, but I'd go De Gea and Ward in goal. I'd go Lewis, Doherty, Trippier, Guehi, and Bueno. I'd go Rashford, Zaha, De Bruyne, Bruno, and Andreas. And I'd go Haaland, Kane, and Gnonto from Leeds. Because I've been told by more than one Leeds fan, is Leeds' best player.
He does look good.
And he's a 5 million budget striker. And that I think we want to start moving money into midfield. So it's quite nice to have like a semi-enabler up front. So yeah.
Is there any cheap Leeds player you don't want in this season? You just going through all of them.
I'm off Somerville now. It's winter now, so I that was
It's
really
awful.
But no, this Gnonto guy, I've seen him. He scored like, including in the cup, he scored like 3 weeks in a row. He looks amazing. As I said, him and Rodrigo are like the only viable Leeds assets at this point, I think. So, yeah, I quite like him, to be honest. And as I say, they've got a double in 22, or are expected to have a double in 22. So that was just a sneaky spot to get one spot ahead of the field. You know what I mean? So I can have Gnonto and Rodrigo for the double.
Yeah, I really hate the I really don't like the double periods, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people get excited about the doubles, but I find it personally, think it's quite limiting. It sort of limits what you can do in the game, and I find it quite boring. It's you sort of capped to pick a certain pool of players. They double X amount of times. You got to read the fixtures, all that sort of thing. You got to actually plan. That's no fun. I'm pretty anti double game week personally. I like to be able to choose from a full pool of players, be able to select them. So, but, yeah.
I think it's a good time for people like me and you, though, Doyle, ironically, because I think it's a really good time to go against the pack, because the pack all do the same thing, right? They're mostly nits. They'll have the same 5 or 6 double game week players. So, like, you might attack it in a way where you just pick different people to the pack. I'm going to attack it in a way where I just have more players than the pack and try and just hit more people. You know what I mean? I think like
you say there, they misplay. They don't take enough hits, and they don't. They're not aggressive enough. This is a weird. This is a weird one, to be fair, because the fixtures are so bad that it makes it a lot closer. But I mean, fundamentally, right? Like, I think a key concept is, the top players tend to score on average. I think it's 5 or 6 points a week, sort of thing. So you just look at it like that, and it's just simple maths, right? You stick them in because they've got an extra game. They're going to average 5 to 6 points. Maybe not any specific fixtures. You don't know how that works out, but in general, I think people just massively underestimate the power of doubles, particularly when they say, "Oh, my single game week players outscored my doubler in this one example on the side, so that means that double game weeks are overrated." It's just, yeah, there's some comically bad takes out there.
There's a really important thing from what you just said as well. Like my Koulibaly example, a lot of people at the moment have got money in the wrong places. So like, you can actually buy a Bruno Fernandes in midfield who averages 5 or 6 points a game and not even lose like another premium in his place, because you can downgrade a Cancelo. Like, it's a bad example because he does double this week, but like, if you had like Trent, you could downgrade Trent this week and get Bruno, and like that Trent averages maybe 3 or 4 points a game, and like Bruno averages 5 or 6. So you're moving the money into midfield. You're also only losing like a mid-price mid who also wouldn't average 5 or 6 points a week, and you can probably gain like a sneaky, like cheap defender who probably still averages 3 or 4 points a week, such as Shaw or something, and then you can get Bruno as well. You know what I mean? So you can like get even more points for your money, if that makes sense, rather than just the 5 or 6 points you'd get from transferring Salah to De Bruyne, for example. You know what I mean? So you could probably get 7 or 8 points instead. So yeah, it does make a little difference.
Yeah, I don't think I can improve my Trossard, Patterson pivot, to be honest with you, any players this week. That's going to be tough to outscore. That's for sure.
Speaking of that, then,
yeah,
Trossard and Patterson and all these other fires you've got in your team. Shall we move on to your team and roughly what you might do? I know you say you don't like to plan too much, but you must have a rough idea of how you're going to navigate the next week.
Just not fair. I want Mahrez so much. I just want him so much.
Can you get him?
I think I can do it. I think taking a hit for a Akanji out is just so bad, and I think you're not really playing much upside there. It's just too difficult, I think, to do it, to be honest with you. I'd love to, but I don't think it's possible. So I think what I'll end up doing is I'm going to get Mitrovic to Martial, I'm pretty sure. I really want to do that. And then I've got to find something to do with this Trossard spot, which is more tricky, because it leaves me 8 million, which, yeah, I can only really afford Zaha or Eriksen. Yeah, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing there for that second spot. But I want Martial for sure. I mean, the other option is I just leave Trossard, hope he doesn't lose too much value, and do Kepa to De Gea or something like that. Is another option. I don't really like, leaving two massive fires on my bench though to come back to, even after taking a hit, which would be Patterson and Trossard. So that feels a bit.
What about Luca Dean? You got him as well. He's crap as well.
No. He is the exact opposite of everything I just said. He is the single game week player who is going to destroy the double game weekers. He's going to put up at least 15 this week, at least 15 points against Leeds at home, and Southampton away after, and Leicester at home. I mean, there's 50 points in there in those three. For a player as class as Luca Dean.
I don't think he'll start any of those games.
I was going to say he might get dropped.
He's crap. He's absolutely crap. Emery's going to hate him. He can't defend. He's not going to play.
He's going to play. He's got to play. He's got to play, surely.
I do think obviously you've gone through your team there, and it's not the best. There's a few problems. Okay, so I think you've really got to look at this double game week as an opportunity to take some hits and sort it out. Some of the players you mentioned, you've got Patterson, Digne. I won't go through all of them again. It's making my eyes bleed. But
he's got those two bad ones on the bench. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with
you. You can definitely use this week to get a few players in who play doubles, change the structure a bit, and maybe boost it up for the next few weeks, I think.
I mean, I think the structure's fine. I've got cheap defenders. I've got De Bruyne, Saka, Rashford, Trossard, and Andreas, which I think is fine when if Trossard goes to another mid-price mid. And the three up top's fine. I think the structure is absolutely fine. It's just those two awful picks in there, which are the big problem.
Yeah, maybe the player's not the structure. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I just need to figure out something to do with Trossard because I really don't want to go to Zaha, but I just don't really see much else I can.
Yeah, De Zerbi actually said midweek in the press after the game they said what's happened with him and why was he on the bench, and he said that he's actually been slacking in training and he hasn't committed himself as much as he should. So it sounds like, I think he said he's given 70-80%, and those sort of players can't play in my team unless they're given 100%. So something's definitely gone on there. So I mean, he's definitely one to be moved out soon.
Yeah, I mean, I could just do a Kanji, Trossard, and Mitrovic to Shaw, Mahrez, and Martial. But...
Oh, it's going to be exciting. I know that the game week's going to kick off, and we'll get a message saying that you've suddenly got a new doubler in your team. It'd be Brian Hill for Tottenham or someone, and it's going to be glorious. I can't wait.
Højbjerg's on 73 points this year. That's a pick. Like that.
That was Doyle. You wouldn't believe it. That was the name on the tip of my tongue. I think you could do a lot worse than him because your team is crap. So I think he would be quite a big improvement on your team. Like he just gets some points. He does. He just like grinds the points. He's good on the baps. He gets the odd assist. He's pretty good.
What about Perisic? Anyone keen on him?
I've got Doherty, so I wouldn't want to double up, but he is doing well. He's like in terms of playing, he's playing well, and
yeah, he keeps starting every game as well.
I think long term could be more of an issue. Obviously, as the games come thick and fast, it's going to be very congested with so many fixtures in such a short space of time that it might revert to how it was the beginning of the season again.
We kind of had that already, right? Over the Christmas period, that was kind of the same thing. Loads and loads of games in short time, and he's sort of played every single one. So. Yeah,
well, I mean, we're only on halfway of the season now, though. Normally, we're well ahead of this, so there's still lots of extra fixtures they've crammed in this season. So, and plus, at the end of a long season, he's had the World Cup in the middle of it. It just seems a bit of a risk to me if for your structure of your team long term if you've got Perisic, but he's okay if you know he's going to start a couple in a row.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm not gonna waste everyone's time. Josh.
Right, so by the way,
let's do you last. You're the fun one, JB. You go next.
All right, I'll go next. I've got quite a lot of options open to me. I've got 2 free transfers. I'm quite happy with my team, which also is a reason why I don't really want to make too many changes to it because I don't want to get blinded by the double game week and then suddenly want all my players back or be lumbered with players I'm not too keen on. I do still have James, but again, he's on my. I don't necessarily need to worry too much about him at the moment. I've got a lot of money tied up in him, but I may just save that until the extra doubles come along in a few weeks, perhaps.
Do you know when he's back?
Not really been said too much yet. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, so I wouldn't be holding on to him for that. The other issue is Cancelo in my team. He's obviously very expensive and not playing a lot. So again, that's a lot of money tied up, and I don't particularly want to keep him. But again, if Liverpool have a couple of doubles in a few weeks, he could become Trent or Robbo just purely for the double game weeks. So they're not keeping many cleans, but if they're in a double game week, they're very attacking. But specifically onto this week,
You got a
I
much
do
bigger
have.
problem than either of those two, right?
I do what? Sorry,
You've got a much bigger problem than either of those two, that's for sure.
are you referring to a certain Mo Salah?
Square in the middle of the team, yeah. 13 million Mo Salah, or whatever he is.
Yeah, obviously he's the cash cow as well, so he can go to anyone. He could either go to De Bruyne, and I could have the Nowds minutes of De Bruyne in the big games with Haaland, or I could potentially downgrade him to someone like Mahrez. I'd say Zaha, but that's never going to happen. But I could potentially downgrade him to someone like that, and then that means that I can change someone else. Initially, it was going to be Martial to Kane before the double was announced, because I weren't too keen on Martial. But now I could potentially do it for Mitrovic, so that is one option. So yeah, there's lots of options available to me with the 2-3s. I'll probably take my time, see how the Carabao Cup goes midweek, and then decide.
I think it's pretty easy, right? You do 3 transfers: Cancelo, Salah, and Mitrovic out for Mahrez, Kane, and say
Could be Stones.
Rico Lewis, Stones, whatever you want to do there.
Yeah, I think it would more likely be Stones if I was going to do that. But trouble is, once I do get them in, it's getting all of them on the pitch, to be honest, because I've got so many. I
wouldn't worry about that.
I've got a lot of doublers, and
it's just literally replacing the 3 you've got. So you just bench Martinelli, Andreas, and James.
Yeah, perhaps, but I don't mind playing Saka or Martinelli, to be honest.
You're still playing Saka or Martinelli.
So who would you say? Sorry,
you'd selling Cancelo, Salah, and Mitrovic. So you'd literally just replacing those 3 players in the starting
11. Potentially. I've changed my team on screen, so I'm looking at something completely different to that. But I'm not averse to playing Saka, Martinelli, and if I kept Mitrovic, I wouldn't mind playing Mitrovic. I mean, there's lots of options. Yeah, I'm still not too sure.
The thing is, JB, you don't need to take the hit that Doyle talked about, because you can just keep Cancelo and do the other 2 transfers, can't you? So
yeah, I'm leaning towards downgrading Salah and then potentially getting someone for Mitro, which would be Kane. But
I wouldn't hit Cancelo out for Stones. I think that's absurd.
Yeah.
No, I probably won't do that. If I was going to do that, I could just change James as well.
Oh no, because you'd have too many City. But you can't do James to Stones because you'd have too many Man City. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, looking at Mitrovic's fixtures as well, so they're really poor over the next few as well. So it's a good opportunity.
Mitrovic had the good first 3 fixtures. I was always planning on selling him this week, but then I didn't have him in the first place, and I got confused and I bought him by mistake. But yeah. I just don't know. I don't know what game I'm playing at the moment, but it seems to be going lucky, so it's fine. But yeah, JB, I think you look good with 2 free transfers. I think you will end up for sure doing Mahrez and Kane in.
You won't. I guarantee you won't do Mahrez. No,
he will, because he loves Harry Kane. He loves Harry Kane. That's the problem, and he's gonna do anything to get Kane, even if it means 1 week punting Mahrez. As I say, JB, the other good thing about Mahrez is, and Doyle said it earlier as well, he's like a placeholder for any midfielder on the game. Like, you can just have anyone, like next week or the week after, you know what I mean? You can just, like, if you fancy going to Odegaard, you can have him next week if you wanted him for the double in a bit, or, yeah, there's a lot of good options in that spot.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd still have, obviously, Cancelo and James knocking about who I can sell. They're quite high priced. So if I wanted to bring in a cheaper defender or something and then do an extra move in a couple of weeks after that, I've also got the option of that. So yeah, I'm not in a rush to do much, but yeah, pretty much what you said is highly likely. And then triple captain maybe on Haaland.
Fun.
I'm trying to find you a hit for James, because I think he is crap. And it's like a lot of money to have on the bench, you know what I mean? But I think, as you say, you've already got a benching problem. So Martinelli, Pereira, and James on the bench seems pretty good to me, I think.
Yeah, and like I say, I wouldn't mind playing Martinelli. I know it's a tough fixture away at Tottenham, but it's not a problem.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't even play Martinelli even if you do 2 transfers. So, like, I suppose you could do just Salah to De Bruyne, play Martinelli, bench Mitrovic. It just seems like nonsense. It just like I think Kane's better than both of those, and then you sacrifice De Bruyne to Mahrez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you kept Cancelo, would you play him over Martinelli?
It's a tough one because I think Cancelo will start one of them at least.
Yeah, but
And
fixtures,
I think
if he starts one, you get him versus Martinelli in a one-off.
yeah, it's difficult. I'm never too fussed about that, to be honest. When your striker plays a defender, as long as it evens out, if one of them gets some points, I'm happy.
I just meant in the sense that if Cancelo plays one, he's got one fixture, and Martinelli's got one fixture, and who would you rather have as?
Sorry, I thought you said Martial. Yeah, I'd probably go Cancelo just purely in case he does play two, or if he plays one and then he comes on as a sub, he's got attacking output as well. So that's why I'd play him, even if he didn't have a chance at a clean sheet, just a slight more upside potentially.
That's the point. If he comes off the bench, you just get a bit of extra EV, which is just enough to like want to play Cancelo. You know what I mean? I don't think he'll start two, but if he does really fancy Walker against the two really good wingers,
that's a good point.
You hit the jackpot with Cancelo. You know what I mean? You'll get to.
I really want to see Walker and Ake play now. I'd really
no chance. Oh, you've got the check Josh guarantee on that one. That will not happen. I promise you that. It'll be Cancelo and Walker, or it'll be Ake and Rico Henry, whatever his name is.
Oh, I can't wait.
And that'll be it.
I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this in advance. I'm going to schedule the tweet. I'm going to put it in the draft and schedule the tweet for
the pre-clip. Yeah, the pre.
Anyway, enough of my team. Let's get on to the main event. Hit City. Come on, Josh. What you got for us? What are you doing this week?
Right. So
I just looked at your team. I think Jesus Christ.
I think you're gonna say. What's that, Doyle? Sorry.
I just looked at your team. It's hilarious. You're taking a piss out of mine. Mount, Koulibaly, Carvalho is the is the core.
Let me just have a look at Josh's team.
Listen, so you're both gonna say, do not take a hit, because I've got Shaw, Akanji, Rashford, De Bruyne, Haaland, and Kane, who all have a double game week, and they're all the best picks for the double game week. They're literally the 5 best picks, and then plus Akanji, right? So you're gonna say, why the fuck are you taking a hit? Well, you've already alluded to it, Doyle. I've got fucking Mount, Koulibaly, and Kepa, who are all shit and all play for Chelsea. And I want rid of all of them. I want to get rid of them all in one foul swoop. And what I can do is I can sell Mount, Koulibaly, and Kepa, and I can get De Gea, Doherty, and Zaha. And I think that's fine. I think that's just fine, to be honest. I wish I could do just Mount and Kepa to De Gea and Zaha, but I'm not one off, which is really just because I really want those two. I really want Zaha and Kepa. Zaha and De Gea, sorry. So I'm stuck, really.
Carvalho's, he's solid. He's nailed. You're happy with it?
I was gutted with that one because they've played Oxlade-Chamberlain over him 3 times. And it's a fucking joke because he's crap. It's absolute rubbish. Like, he should have got 1 game out of the first 2 minimum. It's just crazy. I
imagine just when you put him in, you was like, oh, this is the ultimate differential. No one's thought about this. Everyone's injured. Diaz, he has to play. 100% guaranteed he has to play. And then Oxlade-Chamberlain just bowls out the Anfield tunnel, touching the sign. Whee!
I said to my brother, I can't believe everyone else has missed this. Right, I was like, I can't believe I'm the only one with Carvalho. This is hilarious. I was like laughing at everybody.
I remember seeing it, thinking Josh has done it again. This is a bloody good play. This is. He has to play, surely. Like, there's no one else who can play. And then suddenly I remembered Oxlade-Chamberlain still played for Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also shit. Yeah.
I can't believe this. I can't believe what's happened. I don't have your benching problems. That's the good news, JB. I've got Andreas, Bueno, and Carvalho on the bench, and I'm happy with not starting those this week.
So it's FTs or 1, Josh.
What's that? 1 FT, mate.
1 FT, yeah. 8 in it, 8 in it, yeah.
It'd be an 8, yeah. And if I take an 8 for
Zaha and Doherty. I don't think you'll get 8 points between them, mate. Never mind the points the others will score.
I think that Kepa to De Gea will pay back the -8 on its own. I think the other two might unpay the hit, But I think Kepa to De Gea will pay the hit.
I think 7 points, those 3 players for the game week.
What, in the total?
Yeah.
They've got 6 games.
Yeah.
They're playing 6 times.
5 for De Gea, -1 for Doherty, and 3 for Zaha.
I love it. Yeah, so
I don't mind it. I'm not sure on the Zaha personally. I just don't think it's tough fixtures. I don't think you want him long term. I'd rather keep Mount than him this game week. I think just save the 4 points. But I mean, even if you wanted to take a -4 and got Martinelli, just because he's going to double soon and he's so much better. I think over the next 3, 4, 5 game weeks, if you had Martinelli rather than Zaha, he'll do better for your team. I wouldn't take a hit for Martinelli either, don't get me wrong, but that would be my way of thinking, that either keep Mount or eventually make that spot Martinelli and save a transfer or whatever.
I've just realised something, Doyle, by the way. I need to keep Carvalho because he might have a double next week.
Even though they got Gakpo now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want any of these really. It's like it's a bit like I don't want to get Martial for Mitrovic. I know that. I think I will be selling Mitrovic very soon, but I don't want Martial. I really do want De Gea over him. It's really hard.
I just don't think the -4 is worth it for Zaha, because that's what the -4 looks like to me that you're using it on. I'd definitely Koulibaly and get De Gea, and it looks like you're trying to force Zaha in for 4 points. So he's got a return to level out the hit. Plus, then you're stuck with Zaha with like the worst fixtures imaginable. The defensive ones, though, I do like that.
I'm interested with that. I thought Zaha was the obvious one, and the other two were the ridiculous ones.
As soon as it was announced, I was thinking, right, Zaha's got to come in. But the more I looked at it, it's this future planning after that puts me off as well. Tough fixtures and then in the double and then super hard afterwards. It just seems like it's going to give you another problem further down the line. It's like booking in another transfer.
I'd just do De Gea, to be honest with you.
I can't afford that.
You can't do
Otherwise, I would. Oh. No, of course I would do that. Of course I would do that if I could just do that. I've got to take a hit to get De Gea. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole problem.
Okay, so
I wouldn't.
It's very difficult because you've got De Bruyne. That's used up so much of your cash. You also got De Bruyne, Haaland, Kane, which most people don't have. I know a lot of people got Salah, but they don't have Kane and the free premiums basically. So it does limit you with them last positions. I mean, it's not the worst team in the world by a long shot, but trying to do hits and plan this week makes it a little bit difficult because you're on quite a tight budget.
Have you had De Bruyne since the restart?
Yeah, he's crap.
I thought you hated him.
I do. I don't know why I did it. I hate him.
Oh, that's stupid. But I didn't realise that.
He just gets 1 point every week. Yeah, absolutely nonsense. Yeah, I picked him because of the doubles. I was literally picking my team for week 23 in week 17. I was like, Man City have got 2 doubles. I want Haaland and De Bruyne, and I'll just plonk a Kanji with it because I wasn't convinced Cancelo was going to play the first couple of weeks. But that was more World Cup based, nothing to do with the fact that he's crap and been dropped. So got lucky with that one. But yeah, I mean, my 11, so listen to my 11. I've got Kepa in goal, Akanji, Trippier, Koulibaly, Shaw, Rashford, Mount, De Bruyne, Haaland, Kane, Mitrovic. It's obviously fine as an 11. The bench is crap, but that's pre-transfers as well. So if I can maybe take a hit for Doherty and De Gea, suddenly I've only got Mount and Mitrovic, who are pretty crap in my starting lineup, and then the rest of it is like as good as it gets for the double game week. You know what I mean? So a -8 is definitely forcing it. I'm just like, maybe I want 3 doublers, and like I say, De Gea's a double-doubler or could be a double-doubler. So like that's why I wanted to hit him in. But maybe there's another way. Maybe I should just do Mitrovic to Martial. I don't love it, but like I don't want to do it. But maybe I should do that. I don't know.
I'd do that. Personally, I think Martial's really good. I just think, yeah.
If I did that, I would do Mount to Zaha, Mitrovic to Martial -4. That's what I would do. If I was going to do it.
I don't mind Mount this week too much. Chelsea are at home. Palace are so out of form Mount should play. He might even play a bit more attacking because Pulisic is out for the next 3 weeks now. So
I think you should do Zaha now. You've talked too much about him. I think he's gonna hat trick. So
I mean, I'm taking the -8. I don't know why we're pretending. Like, it's like and if I take the -8, as I was going to say, because I'm in a last man standing league, I will be triple captaining this week if I take a -8. Just to get the weekly score to get me through to the next round, basically. It's also a bit like what would you say?
I tried that tactic in cups to try and win cup rounds with using chips. Didn't work out very well, weirdly.
Yeah, I mean, you triple captained Haaland when he had Liverpool at home, I think, or something like that. So I think that's a bit different, to be fair. So
Everton,
Merseyside Blue, sorry,
Everton,
not Merseyside.
Much more difficult, to be fair. Much harder to score against. Okay, should we move on to beer bets before we go?
Yeah,
go
go
on.
on.
Should we do one each?
Yeah. I've not thought of any. Has anyone thought of any?
Of course not.
Okay, I'll go first. Darwin Núñez, 10 points plus.
Yep. I'll take the opposite of that, obviously.
They've got Brighton, haven't they?
Yeah. Will Liverpool score in that game? That's what I want to know. I think that's a better line.
Yeah, I think Brighton will win that. Yeah, go on, we'll take it.
Easy.
Mine is obviously Zaha to get 10 points or more.
Okay, we'll take that. In the double game week.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I even said that. As soon as I said the words come out of my mouth, I was like, yeah, of course. All right, my one then, because I alluded to it. I reckon Mount will score more points than Zaha in a double game week.
Yeah, we'll both have that, obviously.
Single game week against a double game week player, talisman on penalties, etc.
Doyle thinks Zaha ship. Wait to hear what you think. He thinks of Mason Mount. I mean, it's like crap versus double crap. Yeah,
yeah, he's gonna kill me tomorrow night as well. But we'll see. Yeah, cool. Well, that was quick and easy. The beer bets. So
yeah.
Shame about the rest of it.
The rest was long, painful. I'm sorry to those who watched.
Yeah, we lingered on our teams quite a while, but obviously there's certain issues with our team, so it requires in-depth surgery, doesn't it?
Josh, what the people got to do?
Right, well, there's loads of things to say this week because we're back on Twitter. Well, we should have been going the whole time, but I took a bit of a break for Christmas and November and Halloween and stuff like that. So we're back. Please follow us on Twitter, all in FPL. That's where you'll see all the links to our videos posted immediately after they're posted on YouTube. And also, YouTube, please like and subscribe to our video when we post it on our channel, all in FPL.
And hopefully everyone has a good double game week.
And Spotify and other podcast providers, we are now on those, aren't we, Doyle?
All good podcast providers.
But mainly Spotify, is that right?
That's what I use personally, but I don't know about you guys.
So is it up on everything as well?
It's on everything, baby. It's on Apple.
Right.
I use Apple Podcasts.
I use Apple as well, yeah.
Oh, you weirdos. What? Oh God. That makes me feel bad.
I use Spotify for music, but Apple for podcasts randomly.
So you pay for both?
No, Apple's free.
Apple's
isn't
free.
it? Yeah, Apple, you get free podcasts.
Okay.
Don't know why that's happened, but it's how I've always done it. So.
Okay. Well, thank you guys, and good night.
Night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.